up, guys, and welcome along to another episode of Telecast PH, the Telework PH Business Process Outsourcing Podcast, a podcast dedicated to breaking through the cultural barriers and changing the way we look at outsourcing to the Philippines. I'm BizDev Jeff, your host. I'm the Business Development Manager for Telework PH. Thanks so much for joining. And as always, a special thank you to all who have been listening and following my content on LinkedIn and Instagram. And if you haven't yet, and you want to find me on those platforms, all you got to do is search BizDev Jeff. Connect with me and I'll show you how outsourcing some of the non-core aspects of your business, like customer support, back office operations, or even data annotation, can open up a whole new world. And in return, you'll be helping our mission to make an impact on poverty here in the Philippines. Right, so on to today's topic and a very, very special guest, Miss MJ Felizarta. She's the founder of Bubble Media Co, which is a social media management company, among other things. Now, one of the great things about doing a podcast is you get to meet new budding entrepreneurs who are taking a chance bootstrapping a startup. MJ was one such person. She decided after a run of bad luck to take the skills that she'd learned and her passion and start her own company. Now, also keep in mind that this is her very, very first podcast, but we had a great chat about her humble beginnings to where she is now, and we discussed posting and advertising on LinkedIn and other social media, among other topics. It was a great conversation. Let's listen in. Hey, MJ, thank you for being here on Telecast PH with us today. How's it going?
Yeah, it's good. Thanks for having me, Jeff. It's a privilege to be here.
Well, it's definitely a pleasure for us. So why don't you just go ahead and jump right in and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I am the founder of Bubble Media Co. I have just relaunched it. Actually, it used to be my freelance business that I had just started about a year ago, like around May of 2019. And then I decided to relaunch it as a social media agency because that's where I want to focus and that's where I want to work in. I mean, the field that I'm really inclined to. So I have relaunched it and have partnered with some 3 other great friends that are also great at what they do. I was working as a social media specialist in a BPO company. Mm-hmm. It's an Australian company for more than 2 years. And then I decided to quit because I miss working from home. It's before that as well. I already started working from home in 2013 as a virtual assistant. And then before that, I was in the BPO industry, the call center industry, for about 7 years, working as a customer service agent, and then became a performance analyst. It's a team lead role where I manage people in a team of people and focus more on the quality of their calls. I listen to calls, evaluate them. And then the last call center type of work I have was with an American publishing company. I worked there as a publishing consultant. So it's basically a sales consultant. We call them, it's outbound. And then I worked there for 2 years exactly, left the company, rest for a bit. And then that's when I started as a virtual assistant in 2013 and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the idea of working at home and having the flexibility to do my work and
kind of being your own boss.
Yes, kind of like that, and fell in love with working. I fell in love with the idea of working with Australians. I think they're great to work with, same as with Americans. They're very generous, kind, and very affirming to what you do. So yes, so I serve as I serve with a client as a virtual executive assistant. So I do everything, whatever he told me to do. So that's for about 3 years. And then something happened. His business wasn't doing really well anymore because it's a recruitment agency, and it fluctuates. The flow of leads fluctuates, and his business wasn't really doing well at the time, so he has to let go of me. So yes, and during that time, it was also when I started a direct selling business, like selling what do you call this, health products. Have you ever heard of USANA?
I personally haven't, no. I hope that they're not listening. I apologize that I haven't heard of that, but
it's all right. It's a U.S. brand, by the way. They sell food supplements or vitamins.
Oh, okay.
They have the highest quality type of vitamins. It's really good. It's really good. So I decided to do that, but then it didn't turn out fine eventually because my mom got sick. It was in 2016. So that didn't work out, and I wanted to go and find another stream of income and another. I mean, I went ahead and find for work, but it seems like nothing was working. It was really, I can't really forget 2016. That's like the worst year of my life. It's like it's second to. I mean, it's 2020 now. It's kind of similar to that. It's just that we're all in the same shit right now.
Right. So that was like the defining year for you. Is that the year you decided to go into business for yourself? Was it born out of necessity, or that you found that passion, or?
I think we always have been in family. I got it from my mother's side. We always have been. We always have this entrepreneurial mindset, because I always see my mom doing her own shit. Like she hasn't finished college. She just, I think, reached second year high school. But I'm so amazed by her ability to grow a business from a very small capital. I've seen her grow from just a little. We call it painitan. It's like she would prepare coffee, and there's bread for you, and then you just pay her, something like that. Mm-hmm. And from that, it grew to like a very big sari store, and then she sells RTW, and then to lending money to people. It's crazy. So I think I got it from her, and ever since I always wanted to have my own business while I'm still working. It's just that I just couldn't really figure out what I really wanted to do. And then while figuring that out, I tried many things, but it didn't really work out. And then while I was in great turmoil during 2016, we badly need money, so I need to go back to work. She don't want me to, because she doesn't feel safe when I'm not around. She doesn't feel secure when I'm not around. But I really have to. So I was in panic mode. Didn't think about it. Kind of took away the entrepreneurial mindset in me. So I went back to the employee mindset. So I applied for a job. That's when I worked as a social media specialist in one of the BPO company here.
And that's where you found that love and gained that experience, huh?
Yes. And you know what? What's funny? I started rough in that company. They gave me that first client because the long-term client that I have with them was not really my first client. They gave me that first Australian client, and she was so difficult to deal with. She's like, my God, whatever I do, she always has something to say, and she really just doesn't appreciate it. And she even tells, I even have read my TL's email calling me things that I want to hear it and thinks that I don't believe that I am. Because
Wow.
she yes, it's crazy. But of course, I was just being professional with her. But I really thanked her. If I would get the chance to see her in person or interact with her again, I would really thank her big time, because she made me realize what I really wanted to do. She made me realize that I want to be in the marketing field. I want to be in the social media field. And yes, and then I realized that I can make a business out of it. So when I left the company, that's when I decided to just launch my own freelance business. At the time, I was just offering anything based on my skills, but more still focused on social media. I was able to gain clients through LinkedIn, through organic reach on LinkedIn. And
It's one of the best places to find clients,
yes,
you know,
yes,
to make
yes.
those connections and have those conversations. Now, we've gotten this
Right.
far in the podcast, and I wanted to stop right here for a second and let our listeners
Okay.
know the one thing that we didn't touch up on is where you're from. And MJ is from the Philippines. And the reason why I let
Yes.
it go this long was because I wanted everybody to hear how you speak, and because you have perfect
Oh,
English with like
thank you.
zero accent. And I
Thank
know
you.
that I run into a lot of clients, and that's the first thing that they ask is, well, do they speak English there? And a lot of them, they find it hard to believe that Filipinos, Filipinos speak English as well as you do, or as well as
Right.
our CEO Marja Viso, and myself. I'm not Filipino, but I'm Filipino at heart, I think. So, so yeah, MJ lives in Cebu City, which is in Visayas,
Right.
which is a different island than where I am. The Philippines is
Right.
3 islands. We got Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. And the interesting thing about Visayas is you don't speak Tagalog, you speak Cebuano.
Yes.
you
Yes,
know,
we speak Tagalog mostly.
right? Um,
And we're bad at Tagalog.
right.
Most of us, a lot of us.
Because I remember the first year that I lived in the Philippines, I actually lived in Mindanao, and so
Oh yeah.
I learned a lot of Cebuano.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I came here to Luzon and they speak Tagalog, I went to the market, to the palenque, as we call it in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the palenque. And I said, looking at some tomatoes, and I was like, pila, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't. It's here. It's macano. And so they're looking at me like really weird, because like pila means to line up. You know what I'm
Yes, yes.
saying? So
It's
it's
so
a
funny.
yeah, it's a totally different thing. And I don't know if a
Yeah.
lot of people know that how many languages. I mean, there's only 100 million people, 110 million people in the Philippines, and there's like 700 languages. So I still think it's amazing how, a lot of Filipinos can host so many languages going on in their head, and even master them, especially English. But yeah, so I just wanted to point that out to our listeners, that, as well as you
Mhm.
speak, and as well as you have the articulation and the lack of any kind of real detectable accent, that you are in fact Filipina. So getting back to
Yeah.
Bubble Media, Bubble, where'd you get that name?
It was actually from a friend. She I knew her. I knew her through work as well. I work with an Australian client, and she was assigned to look after me. She's like the project manager of that client at the time, and we became friends. She's from Davao City. Her name is Glenda. I thank her for this. I was talking to her, really just chatting, chatting whatever stuff, and talk about business and freelancing and what have you, stuff that we have common ground with. And then I was like, I call her Mama. She's not really that old. She's like 2 to 3 years older than me, but she's kind of look after me like I'm her daughter. And then I call her Mama. I'm like, Mama, I want to relaunch my business, especially these trying times. I feel like this isn't really the name of the business. And then she came up with Bubble. And I asked her why Bubble? And she told me, well, social media is created like a bubble. It's floating. It does not exist without oxygen. And just like social media, it fuels a lot of aspect. It's very rich. Social media is very rich, and it can be just contained in one shape. But when it bursts, you get amazed by it. You can just focus on one platform, but once you master it, once you get a hang of it, it can then burst into different platforms, and that could help you grow your business. And that really makes sense to me.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and the name Bubble just sounds really cute and, friendly and fun, and that's the kind of company that's the kind of name I want to have. It's cute, fun, friendly, yet we mean business. That's the kind of attitude I want to have in this company. So that's when I went with Bubble Media Co.
So what kind of services do you offer? What are you doing for your clients now?
The services that we offer are social media management and marketing. We can help them with organic marketing if they're reluctant to do paid ads, but we can also offer paid ads as well, like Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, and what have you. Social media paid ads. We can do that, and we have a great pool of talent that we can tap. With and help them. And we also help them with branding, illustrations, graphic designs, video editing, web design, and development. These things are kind of still connected to marketing. So that is why we're still offering this. And SEO too.
So what is, I hear the word a lot. And now I'm not an SEO guy and I'm not a marketer. No, we have a marketing department here, and they're always throwing around that, the language that you were just using, basically. What is the organic marketing? When you say that, what does that mean?
Organic marketing, in my own understanding, is when you're able to reach out to your target audience without having to pay anything, with zero cost. You're not paying for advertisement and what have you. It's all pure content. And it's all, sometimes it's user generated. Sometimes it's your patrons or your loyal fans who's making the spread of your content, and that helps you reach more people. That's organic marketing. So any efforts in social media that's not paid is organic marketing.
Gotcha. Understood. So right now your main focus has been LinkedIn, right?
Yes. The reason why my focus is LinkedIn is because of its organic reach. It's just astonishing. And I have seen many businesses who have benefited from it, whose businesses took off, or whose business have taken off because of LinkedIn, and they didn't even invest a dime in advertising. All they did was just show up every day, put out good content out there, and voila, the business just grew. And they're able to gain clients. So that's pretty amazing. And LinkedIn is at its peak right now. When it's still at its peak right now when it comes to organic reach. I know, and I know other social media people can relate to this, that it would change eventually, just like Facebook. Facebook used to have a very good organic reach, but that is different now. Facebook organic reach has really dwindled down, and that's because they're wanting you to do more paid ads. And right now with LinkedIn, organic reach is still good. And,
See, now that's the thing about a social media, and why somebody would turn to a company like Bubble Media Co. is because basically it does. If you're going to do it and you're going to do it right, you have to be consistent. And I know that a lot of small businesses and stuff like that, entrepreneurs that they find it difficult to be consistent. Even myself with my own posts,
exactly.
I find it sometimes extremely difficult to be consistent with posting in order to get that organic reach, as you've mentioned, in order to keep up on things. I like to put out content on LinkedIn, Instagram. I just started with TikTok. And not only finding the time, to write the post, it takes me a good 40 minutes to an hour if I'm going to put out a really good post, just to write it, and then to make sure I have it, the right time of the day, to hit the right hashtags for what I'm doing. So there's a lot that can go into social media marketing, and social media management. And when they would come to you, that's just one less thing off their mind. They know that they're getting that outreach because social media is huge. It's where everybody's hanging out these days.
Right. It's good that you point that out, because some people just think social media is easy. It's just merely posting. It's just, going out there and just post whatever you want. But it's not like that. When you're in a business, you have to think about what you post. You have to think about your audience, your target audience, not just any audience, because you can just put it out there and shoot anybody without any target, right? So that's the idea. That's the idea. So you have to know their pain points. What does your audience want to talk about? How can they relate to you? What's your hook? It's a whole lot of work. You just mentioned hashtags. And it's pretty dynamic. You have to really get updated with the trends in what's going on with the algorithm. What really works now that doesn't really work before, stuff like that. And you have to, listen to other experts as well. And you have to learn from other people, do your own research, do your own tests. It involves a whole lot of things. And if you're a business owner and you're busy with gaining more clients, and there's a whole lot on your plate, and then you have social media, I don't think you would have the time to keep up with everything. So that's why you need companies like us, social media agencies like us, who can take care of the social media side of things, who can help you increase your visibility, keep your presence,
and keep that consistency, like I was just talking about.
Yes, that's right. And because people forget. If you're in the business for a while, and you notice that even big companies still advertise themselves, even if they're already well known. And say Coca-Cola, for example, I don't know if I had someone told me that they're not doing ads anymore, but when they're already big, they're still doing ads, right? They're still showing up. So if you're just a small business owner, if you're just new and you're not as big as Coca-Cola, the more reason you have to be consistent. And you have to, and nowadays, people during the pandemic, it seems like online, use of gadgets and being online is
well, it's skyrocketed.
Higher.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed.
Yeah, it's skyrocketed right now because most people are just at home. So the more reason you have to show up, the more reason you need someone to help you with that.
Right. I remember when I first entered into this, into being business development manager and talking to clients, and I really hadn't explored LinkedIn. My biggest social media I had prior to that was Facebook and Twitter. So of course, when I landed my first client, I put a post on Facebook and I got like 40, 50, 60 likes. I'm like, hey, I landed my first client. I put a post on LinkedIn and it was crickets. And, and I was a little discouraged at first, but then when I thought about it, I'm like, well, of course, my Facebook page is full of people that I know. They're my friends. They're my family. They're, you know what I mean? So it's all people that are gonna, they're going to want to like my stuff. But then you get on LinkedIn and it's all of these people. I don't even know how millions of people. Of course, your content doesn't get out to millions of people. However, even the few that it does go through on their feed, they don't know you. So the goal is to keep showing up in their feed until eventually your target clients, your target audience begins to take notice of what you've got to say.
And one of the things you have to remember, I don't know if you have seen my post today. Let me just get to that.
I think
I just posted about I just posted about 5 questions you need to ask when creating content. You need to ask yourself when creating content, and this is just based on my experience and my opinion, but I think it makes sense. When you're putting out content out there, you have to think about the audience. What are they getting out from your content? Is it going to resonate for them? You have to think if it's valuable for them. It's not just, I just mentioned earlier, it's not about just posting whatever you want. It's about, I always, this term this phrase kind of stuck in my head. I got this from Nathaniel Beebe. He's also one of the LinkedIn experts from Australia. He has also his own marketing company. I think it's a marketing company too. And he said, you have to dump value in the platform, not take from it. Keep dumping value on the platform until you're able to earn. That's his term, dump value. And I kind of love that. I love that term.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes,
I like that. That sounds nice.
And before, most people or most businesses just want to take, and they always post stuff like, they're so salesy. They pitch, and people are kind of sick of that. So people doesn't really care about that anymore. They care about they care more about who's giving them more value, who are giving them the information that they're looking for. And then is your message timely and sensitive? Just like when you put out content during the riot or during the crisis in your country right now, which sparked a protest. What happened? What happened to George Floyd has sparked a protest in whatever is going on in the US right now. And you just put out content out there and without thinking what's going on in the world right now, and you just being insensitive, that is going to be detrimental for your business. So you have to make sure that your message is timely and sensitive. And
genuine.
Genuine. And be sincere. Because good thing you mentioned that, because I know, and I've read some, posts from one of my friends that they know some companies or individuals who, kind of join in the bandwagon just to, join the trend because they think they want it makes them look good, but they're actually hypocrites. So if you're just being like that, better not post anything.
See, I totally agree with you there, because I see posts that go out, and I can tell that they really are just using whatever global occurrence is happening at the moment,
Right.
whether it be the pandemic, whether it be, you know, and try to, you know, draw some lines into, you know, getting your attention about their company, which would have nothing at all to do with, you know, and you can see that it's insincere. You can see that it's not genuine. You can see, I can see right through it. You know, you can see exactly what they're trying to do. So yeah, I like what you said. It's like, you better just leave it alone. Just absolutely leave it alone.
You better just don't say anything at all. I mean, it just make you look stupid, especially to people who really know you.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what's the point, right? So better not. Just, there's a saying. There's this saying that we always hear: if you got nothing good to say, shut your mouth. So the same thing with, if you're not sincere about what you're saying, just shut your mouth. That's it.
Oh yeah, I'm totally on board with that. Totally on board with that. I mean, you know, I always, you know, you see on LinkedIn people arguing, and one of the biggest things that, you know, arguments that they come up with is, you know, this is not Facebook. This is not Facebook, and they're like, well, I can post whatever I want, and I'm like, oh, good Lord. You know, so I mean, okay, so yeah, you can post whatever you want, but you got to remember that LinkedIn is different than Facebook in a lot of ways. Okay, you know, you want to spout your opinions. Hey, that is your right. You go right ahead and spout your opinions. However, you have to expect the backlash. You can't speak to these professionals the same way you would speak to your friends and family. You know,
right?
And a lot of those posts that I do see, I think in my head, you know, save it for Facebook, because I don't want to see it. I'm not interested in it. But you know, yeah. So I mean, I'm just saying, you know, that goes along with what you were saying is, you know, be responsible, be genuine. Because I'm looking at your post here, and you have, and I liked what you have here. It says, be the giver, not the taker. Never put out something for the sake of putting it out there. That is a powerful line. You know, be responsible, be a responsible content creator, be purpose driven. Remember, it's not about you, it's about them. And that second line, never put out something for the sake of putting it out there. That's powerful. That has a lot in there.
Just talking about people debating about LinkedIn becoming Facebook, and I respect those people who have their own definition about LinkedIn, about how they want to use LinkedIn, and that's all right. And I respect those people who are who are too traditional about LinkedIn, like they think of it just like, you know, like the old days where you just go ahead and update your profile, and then that's it, and then you just check for opportunities, and that's it. I just want to comment on the thought about LinkedIn becoming Facebook, because I'm really seeing the benefit of that. I'm not really whining about it, although some people can go overboard, and that's when being responsible creator comes in. You really have to, you know, you really have to be careful of what you put out there sometimes. I would say it's good that LinkedIn is becoming like Facebook, but not really like what you said, like you are just talking to your family and friends. I mean, you can still be professional yet personal at the same time. Like, have a little dash of personal things in it. I always try to put out valuable content here on LinkedIn, but at the same time, I still try to show you that I'm doing capoeira. I'm taking selfies. I'm doing TikTok. Crazy TikTok videos, and that's not because I'm trying to, you know, I'm just trying to put it out there just for the heck of it. The reason why I'm doing that is because I want to show you that this is me. This is a real person that you're talking to. And if you notice in my banner, LinkedIn banner, I said putting the human in your marketing, because that's that kind of culture we want to have in Bubble Media. If we that's what we want to have that's what we want our clients to remember, that you have to put the human when in your marketing. You have to talk to them like human. So
Right. That's
I think,
what personal branding is really all about.
yeah,
And because even me, when I get messages or stuff from company pages, it seems so impersonal. Am I talking to a person or am I talking to a company?
right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it does seem really, really impersonal. So yeah, people do business with people. So yeah,
Right. They
that
don't.
human element, I mean, that's one of the great things about LinkedIn is you can get on there and people can get to know you before they take a call with you. They can read your
Right.
content. They can know what you're all about. They can laugh at your jokes. They can
Yes.
know your life or, whatever stories you want to share.
Right. Right. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that don't be too stiff. I mean, just break the ice sometimes. You don't have to be really that stiff, and you just have to think like, yeah, I'm professional. I have to be just in this lane. I can't go there. And no, that's not a LinkedIn thing. It's, as for me, it's totally fine. It's totally okay. Just, loosen up a bit. It's totally fine. People love to see the personal side of you because they can relate. They can relate. I mean, we're humans. We do pretty similar stuff. So I think it's like showing your heart to your audience and showing what you are. You're not just a business. You're just not. You're a real freaking business. You see the human side of everything, and that's what I want to have in my business.
And I think that sounds great. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you, and talk to you about your services, what's the best way, on LinkedIn, or, is there, your website, or what's the best way to get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of me is through LinkedIn, through my personal page. You can DM me. Facebook page, we are present on Facebook, so go ahead and check out Bubble Media Co and message us there. We can also respond to you on Instagram, and if we're friends on TikTok, why not?
Great. And I'll put all those links that she provides in the description for the podcast. MJ, we are out of time. I have to wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, that's really sad.
I enjoyed the
I
conversation.
wanted to talk more.
Well, you can always come back again.
I was really nervous at first. I was really nervous at first. Honestly, this is my first guesting, and I am so thankful. I never thought it would come to this point that I'd be guesting in your podcast. You just suddenly invited me, and I was, oh, really? This is like an opportunity for me to talk, to speak out on air, and it's amazing. Thank you so much for having me. I also wanted to talk more, and but of course time is limited. That's all right. I hope you're able to get what you want to get out from me, the juices that you want to get out from me. So yeah,
absolutely. And you can always come back and talk again.
Oh, thank you so much. That's pretty amazing. And you know what? I just want to have one last thing to say.
Sure.
Engagement in any social media platform is really important. Like, it's not just the engagement that you do on the surface, like commenting on your own post, replying on people's comments on your own post, and commenting on other people's posts. It's also what you're doing in the background. Like what I'm doing, you may not see me sometimes posting out content, but I'm working on the background. I'm making friends with my network in the background. I'm checking out people, like asking how are they doing, like just being friends with them. And it pays to be really engaging and friendly to your network. And look where I am. I got a podcast guesting. I didn't even ask for it. Right?
That's golden,
That's what
golden
you get.
advice. Golden advice.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much, MJ, and we will talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you so much, Jeb. It's my pleasure to have. It's my pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Right, so that'll wrap it up for this installment of Telecast PH. I've been BizDev Jeff. Thank you so much for listening, and a special thank you to MJ for taking the time to talk with us today. If you like this podcast, please subscribe, and if you're on the YouTube channel, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and tickle that notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload new content. And I'm always looking for great feedback, so comments are welcome. And of course, if you want to find out more about Telework PH and what we can do and how we can help your business scale up quicker, all you got to do is hop on over to www.teleworkph.com or hit me up on LinkedIn. Just search BizDev Jeff Thompson or the hashtag BizDevJeff. And as the late, great Dr. Wayne Dyer said, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. Take care, everyone. Be safe. This is BizDev Jeff, signing off.